Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you again. Today we're going to do lesson 9, which is about Japanese at work. And as usual, I'll go through the questions and then make some comments about your answers. This time I will also read answers I have as another model answer, making some changes maybe to the model answers given. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll read the question, and then I will read what I would say as an answer. Then I'll listen to your answer and see how yours compare and make any changes or help with what you might need. Also, because we have lots of questions you've been asked, and depending on the time, I might have some review questions from past lessons, and then also maybe just some extra questions from the 300-word book. Okay, so today's first question is, what is the retirement age of company employees in Japan? And if you notice, this was asked in 2009, which was what, last year's, the most recent test. And I would say my answer is the retirement age in most Japanese companies is currently 60. However, since the age to receive Social Security pensions from the government is being increased to 65, the retirement age in some companies has already been raised. Okay? Or the last sentence can also be because let's see. However, since the age to receive Social Security pension from the government is being increased to 65, the retirement age in some companies is being increased gradually.
Okay.
Or more and more, being increased. Okay? And what is your answer then for this?
Okay. It was 60, but regulation was changed, and the new retirement age is 65. However, the age is not necessary to all employees. Employees who satisfy the certain criteria are entitled to continue to work to 60. The regulation change synchronizes with the change with the pension plan modification, that the qualification age for receiving pension is increased to 65. This new system seems to go well because most seniors wish to work over 60. At the same time, the company need the expertise, their expertise.
Okay, the companies need their expertise.
The companies need their expertises.
Expertise. Right.
Expertise.
Experience and expertise.
Experience and expertise.
Good. Okay, that works fine. Good. Just, again, going back to what my comment is, the reason I changed some of this model answer is old age pension doesn't sound very polite. In the model answer, they have old age pension. Okay. I would avoid that word. So the American system is Social Security pension. You could say government pensions. So the age to receive government pension has been increased or something. So that's why I avoided old age. Okay. So I would not say that.
Can I say exactly what did you say?
I said Social Security pensions. I said Social Security.
Social Security.
Social. S-O-C-I-A-L. Securities.
Social Security.
Right. S-E-C-U-R-I-T-Y. Social Security pensions from the government.
Pensions from the government. Okay.
Right. Is being increased to 65, or has been is being increased to 65.
So Social Security pensions from government is being increased.
Right, from the government.
From the government, increased
to 65.
To 65. Okay.
Right. So you don't have to go into much detail. This is fine. But the explanation is some people, depending on when you were born. I think if you were born between or before 1950. or 5 or something, I'm not sure the cutoff date. You receive pension at 60. And then some people born after receive pension 65. So some people working are still eligible to receive pension at 60 because they were born before 19, gosh, is it 53, 54, 52, something like that. There's a cutoff date.
Yes.
And that's why there's like a two-tier system. The United States has the same thing like that, but they increase it in increments of maybe 3 years of birth. So 60, 65, 65 and a half, 66, 66 and a half or something. It's not just 60, 65. They have, you know, smaller increments.
Yeah.
Okay, good. What's your answer then? What do you have for what is the retirement age in Japan?
Currently, the mandatory retirement age in most Japanese companies is 60 years old, and Social Security pension from the government has been increased to 65 years old. The retirement age in some company has been raised. On the other hand, these days, due to the corporate restructuring, many companies in Japan are expanding their early retirement programs to offer premium allowances, and the retirement age varies from person to person.
Okay.
This is my answer.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Can you say that again? Let's go over it a little bit. I think. Let me just hear it again. Okay.
Currently, the mandatory retirement age in most Japanese companies is 60 years old. That social security.
Yeah, I think the age to receive Social Security. The age to receive. Yeah, I would put that. Yeah.
The age to receive in.
But the age to receive. What did you put? Social Security.
The age to receive Social Security pension from the government has been increased to 65.
Yeah,
On the other hand, these days, due to the corporate restructuring, many companies in Japan are expanding the early retirement program to offer premium allowances. The retirement age varies from person to person.
Right, you could say varies from person to person, varies from company to company.
Company to company.
Yeah, that's fine. I forgot to check, but is government workers 60 or 55? Government workers, like, it used to be 55, wasn't it? Some companies a long time ago it was 55. And I believe government workers, you know, people who work in the kuyakusho, those places, shiakusho, they had a retirement age, I believe, of 55. Wasn't it? At one time, I thought there was something they did 55.
Now I think it's 60 or over 60.
Okay, all right, yeah. At one time it was 55. It was lower,
yes, I
right?
know that. But
right.
Right now, no. I think
it's 60
it's
for
already
for government
60 or
workers.
over 60.
Okay, for government workers also.
Yeah,
okay,
yes,
that's fine. Yeah, I forgot to check. I'm
Because
not a government worker.
Regulation is applied for everybody.
Oh, everybody.
In Japan.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, good. All right, so I think we're okay with pensions. If you do not want to say Social Security, it's okay. So you could say the age to receive government pensions is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. If you don't like Social Security. American tourists would understand this much easier if you say that. Other people from Europe might not understand, or other countries. But that's how I would answer. Okay. What we'll do is go on to question 2. Okay. Question 2 asks, the Japanese are known for working long hours. Exactly how many hours do they spend at work? Okay, my answer. By law, the maximum number of hours employees may work is limited to 8 hours per day and 40 hours per week. However, this law is usually ignored, especially by small businesses, because many people work a lot of overtime. Okay, so that's what I would say. And they have here, under the revised labor standards law of 1993. That's okay. I took it out because to me it's extra you need to say. You need to memorize. And, but it's fine. So, under the revised labor standard laws 1993, the maximum number of hours worked, employees may work, it's okay. I just took it out because to me it's simpler to say by law. Okay? Other than that, this law is still often ignored. Okay. They have here, this model answer, this law is still often ignored. I said is usually, because most people in Japan, I know, unless you work at a call center or a reservation center, usually work more than 8 hours per day because it's just social custom more than workload sometimes. So anyway, what is your answer?
Compared to the past, work hours in Japan are decreasing in recent years. Total working hours per day accounted for 2,000 hours in 1990, but decreased 1,800 hours in 2008.
Okay. It decreased to 18.
Decreased to. Under the labor standard law, the maximum number of regular time hours workers may work is limited to 8 hours per day and 40 hours per week. And may I continue?
Oh, sure.
Okay. An increasing number of large companies try to set no overwork day, usually on Wednesday or Friday.
Okay, no overtime day.
No overtime.
No overtime.
Overtime day. No overtime day, usually on Wednesday or Friday, and they are not allowed to work overtime at least one day a week.
Okay, good. That's fine. Good. Yeah, be careful of overtime and overwork.
How different
Well,
is
overtime is zangyo. What Japanese, I think you say zangyo. Overwork is karo. So working too much. So be careful of overtime and overwork. So workers work overtime and stay late. Workers overwork because they never go home and they stay in the company all day and they go to work on weekends. That's overwork. Okay? Good. Actually, that most countries have these kinds of laws, but most countries, workers ignore the law, companies ignore the law. This is not just for Japan. America has laws how much you can work, but they also have laws about if you work so many hours, then you get overtime pay. But then if you're a salaried worker, your overtime you don't get, right? It's the same in Japan. It's just a degree of how much people work overtime. But they do have laws about how much people can work, and but again, most places don't pay attention. But they have to have it probably to look like a cultural, civilized country, right? Okay, and what is your answer for this about exactly how many hours do Japanese spend at work?
The Japanese spend around 1,800 hours annually on the average.
Annually, what was on average?
On the average.
Okay. Maybe on average.
On average.
Yeah. Okay. Take out that. Yeah, that's why I couldn't hear.
Average.
On average is the phrase. Okay. Why don't you start again? Okay, and we'll practice.
The Japanese spend around 1,800 hours on average annually. This number is based on the fact book issued by OECD for 209. Yeah.
Okay.
And the figure is very close to the American one, but 20 to 30% more than European countries. I believe some people work much more than 1,800 hours, but some people less than 1,800. So It depends on people themselves and jobs, categories, and industries.
Okay, and the companies, right?
And the companies, yes.
Right. Okay, good. Yeah, that's fine. So again, this is a very kind of standard answer, but I think it's fine. Okay. If you want to mention that there is a law that limits work to 8 hours per day, and,
yes.
States limiting work 8 to 8 hours a day and 40 hours per week, that's fine, because there is a law that says that. Okay. If we go to question number 3, it's an interesting question. Let me give some background information on it, but I'll read the question as it is in the book. It says, today, many Japanese work very hard. Why do they work so hard? Okay, that was a question asked in 2006. In the guide test, if they ask you a question like this, answer positively. In a sense, I have had students, when I've asked this question, for example, today many Japanese work very hard. Why do they work so hard? They don't work hard. And I go, oh, okay. So at the guide test, answer an agreement with their question. Okay, it just sounds nicer. Now there's ways to say things about this, but the first thing is don't say, oh, they don't work hard. I was like, oh, they don't, So that's why you should just say, oh, okay, they work hard because that. But, many people nowadays don't work maybe as much or something, so you can change it. So that's one thing, just be careful. Now if they ask you, oh, do Japanese work very hard? Another question, do Japanese work very hard? Oh, well, maybe they don't work so hard. That's okay, that's your opinion. But if they ask you a question like this, for example, why are the streets of Tokyo so clean? And they go, oh, they're not clean. So don't disagree with their question in a sense, okay? Even though you can say, well, there's some areas that maybe not so clean, many places, for example, for large areas like Ginza or around the, Hibi, in that area, they're actually very clean. Kabukicho isn't the most clean, but it just looks kind of, that way. But there are a lot of places in Tokyo which are very clean. So anyway, my answer is that. Now, what is my answer for this? Why do Japanese work so hard? Many Japanese work hard because they have a strong work ethic and a sense of loyalty to their employees, who often promise lifetime employment. Okay, so I didn't change much here. I didn't change anything. What I want to stress is loyalty. It's with an L because students are saying royalty. Yeah, so this word in here is loyalty with an L. So put your tongue between your teeth before you speak.
Loyalty.
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 Yeah, with an L. So if you want to say this word correctly, you have to put your tongue ready. Loyalty.
Loyalty.
Like bite your tongue. Loyalty.
Loyalty.
And then if you say Roy with the R, your tongue does not do this. It's in the back. And your mouth is kind of funny. So royalty is like kings and queens. Loyalty is like devotion. And so that's the only thing I do here. Other than that, I think this model answer is fine. Okay. So anyway, what is your answer for why do Japanese work so hard?
Okay. There are many theories about the reason. One of them, which I like, is as follows. It's a little bit long, but please.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay. One of the theories said that the reason is our culture, our character since the ancient times. We have been fundamentally farmers, like European. But the big difference between Europe and Japan is the climate. Although we belong to the temperature, just like Europe, and the climate in summer is different. In Japan, it has more precipitation and the temperature is higher than Europe. Because of that, our ancestors had to fight against the weeds.
Had to fight against what?
Weeds.
Weeds. W-E-E-D-S?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay. Weeds.
Weeds.
No, weeds. Weeds.
Weeds.
The z.
Weeds.
Yeah, that's better. With
Weeds.
the weeds.
Weeds. Okay. So, so it means the longer they had to, we worked to remove the weeds, the more crops they could harvest.
Okay.
So this was imprinted to our genes. That is why we still work hard, even if we are rich now. And regardless of our companies or job category or sex or ages, we work hard.
Okay, I didn't know growing to combat against weeds. Huh?
Weeds. Weeds.
Okay, I never heard that theory, but okay, interesting. All right, good. All right, what is your answer for why do Japanese work so hard?
Several reasons come to mind. One of the reasons is that Japanese have a intense loyalty to their group, and it may come from a time when Japan had a feudal system, demanded to hard work and to complete loyalty in exchange for lifetime employment. And some people say it is due to the fact that Japan has been a rice farming country for over 2,000 years. So unless they worked hard, they could not sustain their livelihood. So I think it can be said our DNA shows Japanese are very industrious by nature.
Okay, all right, good. I think, other reasons, I left this answer without being very complicated, but another reason is I think because of Japanese society and concern of others, or I don't know if concern of others, but caring about what others think of us. So Japanese spend long hours at work because if they go home early, it looks like they're not working hard. And they also think that, oh, if everybody else is working and I go home, then the other people are working late and that's not good. So for keeping the group mentality, everybody kind of does everything together. And then when people start to go home, then everybody goes home. So part of this is very social. I did not put that in my answer because it becomes more complicated to say. But that's one of the reasons. And again, I've asked this before, and do Japanese work hard or do Japanese work long hours? Right? Which is they spend lots of time in the company, but are they working there? When they're in the company, are they working? Or are they just spending time waiting until it's late to go home? Which is not nice. But again, that's something you could say Japanese also are concerned about, keeping good harmony with other people. So therefore, they also tend to stay late in the company, even though they might not have much work. They like to keep the harmony and also to show that they're, also a good worker by staying late, even though there's really no reason other than the social pressure. Okay, so you could add that type of thing if you like that, but it is more complicated to say. The standard answer here is actually very compact. Sure.
May I have a question?
Okay.
May I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm not familiar with the word kinben in English, so which is better industrious or diligent?
Actually, both are okay. Probably diligent is used more commonly. If you're speaking with people especially, they're very industrious. He's very diligent. So probably diligent is used more. Both are okay to use. Use what you like. And industrious.
There's no different nuances.
I don't, to be honest, maybe if I think about it more, but on the spot, I would say not much difference. Now, industrious, it might have a little different nuance about work. It's related to work. Diligent has a broader sense. He's a diligent worker. He's a diligent, studier, or he's he studies diligently. He practices diligently. So if you're practicing the piano, he practices diligently. He's very diligent at practicing the piano. He's very diligent at studying. So in that sense, has a broader sense. He's very industrious at playing the piano, we would not say. So industrious is maybe building things or working. Okay. But in this sense, for this answer, both are okay because it's related to work. Diligent has a broader sense, studying or practicing, also working. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go on to, if we're okay with this one, let's go on to question 4. Now, to me, unfortunately, this is one of those situations where the question and answers don't match. What I'm saying is they ask, how many holidays do the Japanese have in a year? If somebody asks me, how many holidays do the Japanese have in a year? I would say Japanese have 15 holidays. 15 meaning national holidays. Okay, now if you look at the answer, they mention the word days off. So according to Japanese law, workers have more than 120 days off per year. So the question would, if you ask the question, how many days off do the Japanese have in a year, then the answer fits. But how many holidays do the Japanese have, to me, is not, it's a good question, but the answer they've given is not, to me, what I would answer for this. So how many holidays do the Japanese have? They have 15 national holidays. Holidays, would be that. Now, in other countries, the UK, holiday is used more than vacation. So maybe if a person from the UK asks this, they might answer differently. It might be that, okay. I'm not from the UK or England or Australia. I don't know how their nuance of holidays are. In America, we say go on vacation. In England, in the UK, they say go on holiday. In America, we would not say that. But I'm not sure. I think days off work better. How many holidays do the Japanese have a year? Sometimes, I'm not 100% sure, but I think in the UK, holidays means paid vacation, paid holidays, possibly. So anyway, let's try this both. I will give, so how many holidays do the Japanese have in a year? They have 15 national holidays, plus extra. And I mean plus extras because 2nd and 3rd of January are considered not national holidays, but they are holidays, right? There's no, they're company holidays. There's no name except the New Year's, but January 1st is a national holiday. January 2nd, 3rd are not. But nobody works. So in essence, they are holidays. So 15 official national holidays. Okay. The next question then when we change this is how many days off do the Japanese have in a year? My answer is Japanese workers have more than 120 days off per year by taking national holidays and paid holidays, national holidays and weekends. Plus, workers have paid vacation days in addition. So the minimum is at least around 120 days off. Okay, let me just go through that again. So Japanese workers have more than 120 days off per year, which includes national holidays and weekends. Plus, Japanese have paid vacation days in addition. Okay, the figure is there's 52 weeks in a year, 52 weeks with Saturday, Sunday, and each week is 52 times 2 days off a week is 104, plus the 15 national holidays is 119, plus January 2nd and 3rd, you add 2 more days to 119, it becomes 121, which is over. Plus, some people also have company holidays during Obon, or summertime, so they also get company holidays at summertime. So in essence, there are more than 120 days with national holidays, company holidays, and weekends. And days off for paid vacation are even extra, which can be from 10 to 20 or more days per year. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is kind of mixing it up. They have holidays, paid holidays, weekends, and things. So there's lots of things that account for paid for holidays or time off.
Weekly holidays instead of, can I say weekly holidays instead of weekends?
No, weekly holidays. I wouldn't understand which. Weekly holidays means every other week. Work 1 week, holiday 1 week. Work 1 week. Holiday for 1 week. That would be to me a weekly holiday.
So weekends
or something like that. Yeah, weekend is much better. Like daily holiday means you have a vacation every day. Weekly holidays means you have a holiday every week also. But I wouldn't know what that means. So okay, let's see what your answers are. Okay, how many days off do the Japanese have in a year?
Excuse me again.
Okay, I'm going to ask the days off. Yeah, what I'm going to do after is I have lots of questions about Japanese national holidays. I'm going to try to do that at the end of the lesson today. But let's just answer. I'm going to ask the question for time off. How much time off do Japanese have in a year? But how many days off do the Japanese have in a year? It's maybe easier to answer, easier to think, okay?
Workers in Japan are guaranteed under the labor standard laws to have more than 120 days off per year by taking weekends and national holidays and paid holidays in addition. And generally, it's not customary for Japanese to take long vacations like Westerners.
Okay. Like people in the West or something.
Okay, like I said, Westerners. And instead, almost everyone takes a vacation at the same time. For example, Golden Week, which starts from the end of April through May 5th. And the Bon vacation usually on August the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's fine. All right, good. Let's ask him, how many days off do the Japanese have in a year?
Statistics of the central government said that Japanese took 112 days off in 2003, which is a little bit old data.
Okay.
Including weekends, national holidays, and paid holidays. The number of holidays differ between industries, companies, and people themselves, individuals, and age and sex.
Okay, right, good. All right, yeah, depends on how much time people take off. Now, even though some companies have, 5-day work weeks, many people are busy, so they work on weekends. So that's maybe, also why you're less than 120.
Yeah.
Right, because people do, have extra time. They have to work on a holiday national holiday, they have to work on a weekend or something, so it does become less. But technically there is a set, standard now of the national holidays plus the weekends, which in most major companies, you have a 5-day work week.
Yes.
Right. In the old days, they used to have, 6-day work week, and then they had 5.5-day work week, where you worked, half a day on a Saturday, or every other Saturday you would work, and so it was, a different system. But mostly by now, everybody, major companies have Saturday or Sunday, or 2 days off a week.
Yes.
Okay, good. Again, there are different ways to express this. Paid holidays is fine. That's more British English. American English is vacation time.
Vacation time.
Yeah, they have vacation time or paid vacation time.
Paid. It's American one?
American,
expression.
Yeah, paid vacation. How much paid vacation do you have? How much paid vacation days do you have? All are the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So how much vacation time do you have a year? Oh, I have 2 weeks, which means 10 days.
10 days. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Including the weekend, so they would say 2 weeks. How much vacation time do you have? I have 2 weeks, I have 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Normally in conversation we don't say, how much paid vacation days do you have? We don't say that, but you can say that if you're more comfortable because it's clearer. But in general conversation we say, oh, how much vacation do you get each year? So vacation refers to paid vacation days because weekends and national holidays are taken for granted, right? Okay?
Okay.
All right, let's go on to number 5.
Mm-hmm.
I've not changed very much except the ending of this model answer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so question 5 says, how do employees in Japanese companies obtain promotions and pay increases? Mm-hmm. Okay, traditionally, lifetime employment and promotion by length of service have been the main features of the Japanese employment structure. Once someone has been employed, it is normal for their wages to rise in accordance with their length of service in the company. However, many companies now have an annual salary system based on performance. That's my answer. So what I have done is on the last, starting from 1, 2, 3, on line 3 on the right, they have with qualifications. I take that out. So the sentence going up to line 2. Once someone has been employed, it is normal for their wages to rise in accordance with their length of service in the company. Mm-hmm. Okay, this qualifications to me is very vague. I don't know what they mean qualifications, by age, or they have they have what, a license for something, EQ or something. I don't know what they have, so I took it out. Okay, then the last part of this sentence, I take the whole thing with the yet. Starting with yet, I changed this. However, many companies now have, and then I go to an annual salary system based on performance. So I take out, the current trend is that a small but increasing number of companies are introducing. Okay, that's long and complicated, and maybe you don't need to say that. It's okay, but it's long. So, however, many companies now have an annual salary system based on performance. And also you could say nowadays, however, many Japanese companies have an annual salary system based on a combination of seniority and performance. So you could, whatever you want to say, what you're comfortable with, but you can also say, however, many companies now have an annual salary system based on both seniority and performance. Yeah, because a lot of companies still give some merit to length of service, their years in the company, plus performance. So each company is different. Okay, that would be my answer for this. And
before that, you said mixed.
Yeah, an annual salary system that is mixed. I changed it actually. I don't like mixed, but yeah, it's mixed, which is a combination of seniority and performance.
Okay.
So I think mixed makes it sound a little more complicated. So an annual salary system based on both seniority and performance is probably the most precise way to say that. Okay, so let's try. Well, maybe you, Anthony, you probably prepared something else a little differently, but let me see what your answer is. How do employees in Japanese companies obtain promotions and pay increases?
Traditionally, lifetime employment system and seniority system are the major, have been the major features in Japanese companies. Employees are promoted and the wages are raised according to the length of services in the company.
Okay, length of service.
Huh?
Length of service. It's singular.
Singular.
Yes,
Okay.
length of service.
Service. Okay.
Length of working years.
The length of service in the company, except for managers, for whom the merit system has been applied for a long time already. At the same time, the merit system is being introduced even for younger people in the companies. And also the merit annual salary system is being introduced in some companies. Not so big number, but statistics says 15% of the companies are have already introduced the annual salary system.
Okay, 15%?
15%.
Okay, so performance-based system.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, a lot of companies, I do know, as I said, do have a combination of some kind of.
My pronunciation was 50.
No, I think I just want to. I think it was 15. I just
You
want to
think?
make 100% sure. Okay, that I'm carrying correctly. Okay. Yeah, it was okay. I just want to make sure again. Okay. Okay. And what is your answer for this? How do employees in Japanese companies obtain promotions and pay increases?
Traditionally, the lifetime employment and seniority system have been characteristic of the Japanese working system. And once someone has been employed, wages and promotions have been guaranteed to rise by length of the service. But in recent years, many companies are adopting an annual salary system based on both seniority and performance.
Okay, good. You used the word to rise. It's grammatically it's correct. Can you say that sentence again? You said something about the salaries and promotion or something to rise.
Once someone has been employed, wages and promotions have been guaranteed to rise by length of service. It sounds unnatural.
Yeah, what is wrong? And it's fine grammatic. Have been guaranteed to rise. It's okay. I would guaranteed to go up.
Guaranteed to go up. Okay, to go up by length of service.
Yeah. Go up is very colloquial. It's more, go up rather, words in English, verbs that have a preposition, go up, go away, go out, these out, up, make them sound more colloquial, more informal, more conversational. And sometimes, the other word maybe is better because it sounds more professional, but I don't know where. Have been guaranteed to rise. It's okay. I don't think I would hear that from somebody speaking. That's what I think is wrong. Have been guaranteed to go up. Just sounds more natural. Have been guaranteed to rise. Or have been guaranteed to be raised. Maybe that's better. Okay. Okay, all right. Yeah, there's certain words, when I hear this, and it's not spoken very often, it doesn't sound natural to me, even though the grammar is fine, the word is fine. It's just people say certain words and they, don't speak certain words. And of course, you have that much, much more in Japanese, right? Your spoken language is much different than your written language. So I think you can understand what I mean. If somebody speaks like a book or newspaper, it sounds a little funny, right? But if you write like you speak, then it looks funny. So, in English has that a little bit too. Okay, let's go to question number 6. This question is actually, not difficult. Everybody understands the reasons, but saying these reasons is complicated and difficult. Okay. Now, in the model answer, they have, it's fine, except they have a little bit of things that are not parallel. What I mean is they have the first thing is, it just sounds a little not parallel. Well, I would put because this, because this, because this, because this, and make it very clearer grammatically. And the first one they have here, the question is, why do Japanese employees often leave their families behind when they transfer to their other towns? That's fine. Okay. Families often, employees leave their families behind when they transfer to other towns because, the family would rather stay behind to care for elderly parents for reasons relating to home. So what they have done is this, it's hard to explain, but because the family would rather stay behind to care for elderly parents. That's one, to care for elderly parents. Then they have for reasons relating to home ownership. And the way it's placed here, it doesn't match. Related to care for elderly parents. For reasons related to home ownership. It just for some reason doesn't match as well. So I would put, why do Japanese employees often leave their families behind when they transfer to other towns? They often leave their families behind because the families need to take care of elderly parents. Make it one sentence. And some other reasons are because they own a home, because the spouse works, and because the children go to school and they don't want to change the children's schools. Then the rest, and since Japan has an extensive air and travel network, or Japan has a very good transportation system, it's possible to spend weekends with family while living and working in another town during the week. Okay, so I would kind of break the first part about taking care of elderly parents, or to take care of elderly parents. And then some other reasons are because they own a home. The spouse works. The spouse also works. The children go to school. And they don't want to change the children's schools. Because in Japan, some prestigious schools are difficult to get into, and you can only get into these schools if you start as a first-year student. Or, Okay? That's my answer. I'd kind of fix it and do that. Now, if you look next week, there's more questions about work and business. And on page 43, they have what is Tanshin Funin. It's basically the same. One's in English, why do they leave their families behind, and what is Tanshin Funin? But if you look, the answer is a little different. And actually, the one for Tanshin Funin for grammatically works a little better. Okay, so if you look at both of these, maybe by next week, the Tanshin Funin and this, you could make an answer. It's not complicated, the idea, but how to say it. Okay, so whose turn? Your turn. So why do Japanese employees often leave their families behind when they are transferred to other towns?
The practice is common in Japan because it's sometimes quite hard for the entire family to move to a new city. The family may have a house loan, or the spouse may have a job.
Okay.
to relocate the entire family is not always the best solution because it may take a long time for children to get used to a new school. And there is also a concern about the elderly and care for elderly parents. And some fathers have no choice but to leave their family behind, very reluctantly.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that works. That's fine. Yeah, what they're trying to be careful of fathers. To be honest, I don't know of any situation so far where the lady, the wife, has been transferred. Now, it's very possible. I don't know everybody in Japan. It's very possible the wife will be transferred. But most cases, it's always husband transfers. But that's why we don't want to say the wife works, because we don't want to make, this sexist. So in your case, that's why the husbands are reluctant. Maybe that's why you need to say that's why the workers are reluctant, but they need to go, or they have to go, or something.
Some people have no choice but to leave their family behind.
Good, that's where people is fine. Good, yeah. So again, try not to make it sexist, But, unfortunately, I think it's a very sexist type of, activity, where the wife usually is not transferred and the father stays home. I've never seen this, but it's possible. I'd love to hear situations like that. Okay. In America, it's maybe more common, a little bit, but in America, it's easier to move. Yeah. In your answer about having a loan payment, do you have a loan? Is that what you said? They have a loan?
House loan?
Yeah.
House loan. It sounds not natural.
No, it's natural. The problem is, I would just say they have a house. The loan, you could go to Hokkaido, Okinawa, still pay the loan. Okay, if you know what I mean. Having the house, owning the house is they don't want to leave the house. Paying the loan, they could go to Chiba and, still pay the loan. So the loan is not, to me, the main point. It's owning the house. Right, so they own a house. Okay? Yeah. All right, let's make it clear, so that's fine. Good. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, give you the microphone. Thanks. Uh-huh.
You said don't use the
sexist words? Like
sexist.
Sexist. S-E-X-I-S-T.
I-S-T. Sexist.
Yeah, that's like,
So, can I say businessmen and women, or
that's fine.
Or just if I say businessman, it should be avoided.
Yeah. Yeah.
Businessmen and women.
Yeah, or employees, it's okay.
Employees.
Workers, yeah. Yeah.
Workers.
I know this is a very, it's hard to avoid because everybody thinks of the man, but I think nowadays to sound good, you shouldn't just mention the men, businessmen. Although again, this is something,
So to American, it sounds strange.
Well, I don't know, just to Americans it sounds strange. The idea is nowadays all of the language should not be sexist, regardless, American or whoever. I think continuing to sound sexist continues practices. So I'm always trying to be very fair,
Okay.
So think of being very fair in the interview because there could be, interviewers could be female. They could be very sensitive. Okay. So, okay. What is your answer of why Japanese leave their families behind when they transfer to other towns?
Okay. The main reason is schools of children. The parents don't like to move children from the current school to a new school. And also, they would like to provide children with consistent education and to make the children keep the friends. So
not make the maybe let
the children keep the friends.
Okay.
and there are many other reasons, which I think which are minor, but for example, keeping houses, taking care of parents, all these things still exist. But the children's problem is the most big issue. Yeah. And because...
The biggest issue? You think? I think the biggest issue. Okay.
In Japan, because trust between husband and his wife exists, the separation is not a big matter, is my belief.
Okay, okay. All right, and they could visit. Japan is smaller than other countries. It's bigger than some countries, but you know, compared to some places, it's smaller. So, yes. And the transportation system is so good, they could actually visit each other,
yes,
you know, often.
In weekends,
right.
Yeah, they can go back to the homeland.
Right. You know, in countries, again, America, Canada is very large. So yes. Going from West Coast to East Coast, flying it, just an airplane, it takes 5.5 hours or about 5 hours or something. So, you know, that's a long time. Plus getting to the airport, everything. So it's not as easy as taking Shinkansen to Osaka or something, yes. You know. Okay. Another thing that this is maybe more common in Japan is because a lot of this tanshin funing is back and forth and back and forth. Now, in other countries, just to let you know, in America, usually when you're transferred, it's permanent until your next transfer. So they don't say, okay, you're going to go from, you know, Los Angeles to Chicago for 2 years. It's possible, but most of the time, you're being transferred to Chicago. Hi, boom, you don't go. And then when you're in Chicago, after a while, okay, well, we're going to transfer you to New York, so you go. So there's no definite pattern in other countries about this, or I should say in America. Maybe some other countries are like Japan. But in Japan, usually it's you're going to be tanshin funin for 2 years and then you come back. Mm-hmm. And you work in Tokyo or wherever the main company is, and then you go out. You know, banks and insurance companies do this a lot, right? They send employees. People who work in manufacture go to the home office, then they go to the factory. Then they come back to the home office, then they go to another factory. But in America, once you're transferred, you're there until the next transfer, whenever that is. It's not like 3 years, 2 years, whatever, many times. So that's why when you're transferred, you move everybody. Okay. Okay. Yeah?
Okay.
So some people like to ask me these background questions, but yeah, that's why the Japanese system is a little different, because usually they have a number of years, right? Maybe it's not 100% sure, 2 years or 3 years, but it's not 10 years.
No.
Right? But in America, it's usually oftentimes permanent. You're being transferred to Chicago. Go.
Never come back.
Well, you can, but it could be another position. You could try again. Or there's different situations, but a lot of times transfers go in one way. So that's why people move when they're transferred.
With family.
Yeah. Otherwise, don't go with no job.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Good. Okay, let's go after the break to finish the other question, but we'll take a break first.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's begin again, and we will start with question number 7. And question number 7 is, can't the Japanese do business without business cards? Okay, I'm not sure whose turn. Okay. This is my answer, because technically well, this is one of the questions where there's no yes or no, but it's nice to say yes or no at the beginning. Okay, so can't the Japanese do business without business cards? Well, practically no. You know, that's because Japanese always exchange business cards when they meet for the first time. One reason is because Japanese names are often pronounced the same but written differently, or written with different kanji Chinese characters. Also, Japanese business cards, besides showing the person's name, show job title, company name, and contact information. And because it shows the title, it's very useful in Japanese vertical society, because then you know the position of the person and which level of language to use and that type of thing. So having a name card is very useful to not only show the name, but also to give the person's title, and then you know who you are dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's my answer, something like that. Okay. So, what is your answer? Can Japanese do business without business cards?
No, they can't do that without business cards. When the businessmen and women meet the business associate, exchanging the business card is a formal manner, and it's already a ceremony. So
It is.
it's very convenient to have that. For example, in the first meeting with the business associates, by putting the business cards in front of them, they can assure which are the most highest person in the position, and the names and names. So it's convenient. At the same time, filing these cards, they can find the names and the titles and the contact phone number later. So it's also convenient later.
Right. Okay.
So without, yeah.
Yeah, good. That's fine. Yeah. So good. All right. Let's have her as I laugh because your answer is very true. I have some other comments after. I want to listen to her, but yes, a ceremony is a good way to put that. I've never heard that used, but I mean that's what I will use from now on. It's like a ceremony. Okay, good. Can Japanese do business without business cards?
Well, I would just say practically no. That is because the practice of exchanging business card in Japan is very essential. It's customary to greeting at first and bowing each other and bowing to each other,
okay,
and exchanging business cards very respect-free. The Japanese names are often pronounced the same but written differently. And in order to avoid making mistakes, especially regarding spelling and pronunciation of someone's name, business card is considered as a very important business tool. And in addition, business cards show a person's name and his or her job title and company's name and contact address. To note that job title is very important in such a vertical society of Japanese company.
Okay, good. All right, good. All right. You could, again, this is what I would say is practically no or basically no, because name cards are very important. Now, name cards are not limited to Japan. So everybody has name cards. If you go to China, you go to Europe, you go to America, Canada, South America. Business people have business cards. Okay, so these are not just something, native to Japan. I don't know where they came from, but everybody has business cards. But as he said, the ceremony, the formality in Japan is probably unheard of anywhere else. In America, people say, "Oh, here's my card," and they pass it just like, turampu mitai. Hi, dozo. Oh, you too, here. And then they take your card and boom, it go right in your pocket. Sometimes they look, they don't look, they just, tsukomu. They just throw it in your pocket. Cram it in the pocket. Well, in Japan, of course, that's rude, right? So, in essence, the whole formality of exchanging name cards in Japan is like a ritual in a sense. But it's very polite, but it's also just different. So in that sense, in Japan, it's just, a very common practice to do. But everybody has business cards. Okay. Now, the thing about names is interesting. You say, well, because the names are, sound the same, but they're written differently. Like Ito-san. We have a lot of Ito-san. So which kanji do you use? But, names in America or any place, if you're not sure of the name, you don't know how to pronounce it. Right? So people look as, is your name Mueller, Mina, you know, they don't know how to say. So just having the name card in Japan, of course, helps, but it's not always 100% because they go, oh, どうやって読む? So the people look on the other side, hope there's English. Right? And then companies, oh, 英語がない. So what do? Is you have to, you know, make sure you know. Or sometimes people with difficult names put the furigana. Right? So again, this thing with names is not just limited to Japan. Going back to what I said is because in America, people's names, because there's many different kinds of people in America, especially from different countries, names, we're not sure how to pronounce them. Okay? So, you know, getting a name card helps, but it's not always 100% because, oh, you have the name, but how do you say this? Okay, so anyway, but the formality in Japan is very definite. Like you said, like a ceremony kind of when you meet, you place them neatly in front of you in the order of way people sit and things. In America, people to take and throw it in their book or, hi, okay, hi, nice to meet you, okay, hi. Okay, so that's about name cards. Okay. Let's go to number 8. It talks about the seals. Okay. When and on what occasions are seals necessary? Okay, I'll go through this, and what I've done is I've made 2 sentences. Okay. Seals are required on important business documents. Seals are used to express consent on contracts, to open bank accounts, and to give notices to government offices. Most people have at least 2 or 3 different types of seals. One is a registered seal, one is a bank seal, and another is an acknowledgement seal. For example, just to give easy consent or acknowledgement when they receive parcels or packages at their home, or they need to just show the stamp that they've seen something. In equivalent, it's like the signatures are used in the West. Okay, and that's my answer. Okay, so when and on what occasion, I would put when and on what occasions are seals necessary? Okay.
Well, seals are required on official documents and important transactions. When you open bank accounts and make withdrawals without using a cash card, a seal registered at the bank in advance is needed. And then plus, seals are also used when you receive postal deliveries and other everyday functions.
Okay, right. Can you say that they're used to receive postal deliveries? What did you say?
Postal deliveries and other everyday functions.
Okay. It's very true. I would say they're used to receive postal deliveries, to acknowledge, used to receive postal deliveries and to acknowledge many other simple functions.
Simple functions.
Yeah. Okay, good. When and on what occasions are seals used?
Seals are required on important business documents, and also are required to express consent on contracts, and also to give notices to governments, and etc. The role of seals are equivalent. The roles of seals are equivalent to signature in the Western countries. Most people have 2 kinds of seals. One is a registered one, which is used for important thing, and the others are very usual and normal one. It's just for daily use.
Okay, good. Right. Even though I didn't change this one about giving notices to government offices, you know, when filing documents with government offices, maybe a little bit. When giving notices, you don't give a notice to the government office. You file papers, you file applications, right? So actually this one on this answer is to give notices to government office. They're used to file documents.
To file applications or documents?
Yes, it's used to file applications and documents to government offices. Actually, file documents with, or file documents to. With is better. So they used to file documents with and applications to government offices. Maybe with is better. They used to file applications and documents with the government offices. With is better than to. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then as I said, the three types, or what the one used for the bank is just in English the bank seal, and then the very simple everyday use, mitomein is what you call it. Just like I think the English word is acknowledgement seal. Yeah, is it ACKNOWLEDGEMENT, acknowledgement seal.
Acknowledgement seal.
Yeah, it's a little awkward because, you know, in Japan people would understand, maybe other people wouldn't, but, you know, and then, you know, you have your registered seal, which everybody register for very important documents, real estate documents, things like this. Okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. The mitomein is like, rather than consent, consent is a little bit stronger than acknowledge, like, oh, okay, okay, kind of thing. But consent is let me make sure that's okay. And you have to, you know, do a little bit different. So they have here express consent on contracts. So a contract is really you agree to this, you know, no mistake. So the mitomein is kind of like, oh, I saw it. You know, nothing, you know, oh, I received the package, okay, like a proof, just more like a show of proof.
So in America or Western countries, there is no difference between these important one or unimportant one.
No, there's no.
You put just signature on these documents.
Yes. Now, what is important is you make sure your signature is not different. What I mean is you don't change it every time you sign. Yeah. Do you understand what I was saying? Is if you sign, okay, I acknowledge that you sign, you know, this. If you're signing important documents, your signature must be the same. So if you have a driver's license and you sign it, and if you have a passport and you sign it, and the signatures don't match, then it's no good. So don't just kind of like, oh, you know, however, oh, today I feel like this one, and let's do this. You should, when I was like about 18, I started to develop the same signature because you need that for everything after.
Oh, okay.
You can't just like, you know, today I feel like this one, and I want to do this. No, you have to kind of define your signature because that's very important.
So do you make practice for signing?
Yeah, kind of. You kind of proud. What do you like? What do you look like? You know. So now when I've just, you know, like with my eyes closed, I sign my name. It looks the same usually.
The same. Oh.
Yeah, because if it doesn't look the same, they have problems. And they have the same thing. They have, and the banks, of course, they're going with this machine, right? Did they have something, you know, not in America, in Japan, they're checking, right? It's really interesting to watch. But in America, if they don't believe it's the same person, they actually have also signature certifiers, especially when it gets very complicated legal cases. They have a kantenin or something that will check. Is this the same signature as this one? Is this the same handwriting as this one? They have people that study that and can tell. They need this in court, in legal cases. So anyway, that's what they do in America. Now, sometimes you want just initial is very simple. Initial is like mitomein.
Oh, okay.
That just initial here, you know, mitomeru, you know, kind of thing. So, but a full signature should be the same.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right. Let's go on to question 9. It said, many people switch companies? Okay, and my answer is, before, Japanese people rarely switched companies because the employment system in Japan made it difficult to do so. Now, because many companies use performance instead of seniority as the primary standard for determining employees' salary and promotion, more people switch companies than before. Also, companies nowadays accept experienced employees instead of only new graduates. So it's not only employees who can find jobs easier, but it's also employees who allow experienced workers in the middle of their careers to come and work. Okay, that's my answer for this. The idea of a chutosayo in English is unheard of. What is chutosayo? Well, it's, you know, a mid-career change or change or you know, finding a new job in essence, right? In the old days in Japan, it was very difficult to find a new job because companies only wanted new graduates. They didn't want used employees, right? We don't say used employees in your answer, but that's what it was. They were used employees the companies didn't want. Nowadays, accepting, we would call experienced employees is very common, especially when it comes to engineering or some kind of professional or specialty. It's very common. But in the old days, they only wanted, new graduates. So if you weren't a new graduate, you couldn't find a job because the company wouldn't accept you, even though you had good skills. So now it's working both ways between the company and the employees, workers. So it's kind of becoming more and more like, maybe I would just say Western system. Okay, so do Japanese switch companies?
Not so many people still now. Until 20, 30 years ago, most people were very loyal to their companies, which took the seniority system and long life, lifetime employment system. So it was very natural that many people stay in the same company for a long time. But the situation is changing. Young people tend to not hesitate to switch companies. And at the same time, the companies are accepting the people in mid-career. So compared with the old time, on average, the people are changing, switching the companies.
Okay, fine, good. All right. Let me ask her. I have another comment, something I thought of anyway. What is your answer? Let's just hear your answer. Do people switch companies nowadays?
Yes, most Japanese companies have long adopted lifetime employment and seniority-based system, seniority-based payment. Seniority-based salary.
Okay.
And many people used to consider switching companies as a taboo, and it would result in negative status among the Japanese companies and society, because the loyalty to their group was very important. However, the current trend is that many companies are adopting the merit-based systems. So they are now increased, and they are very now interested in hiring experienced people in the mid-career. And switching companies has become much easier than before. So personally, I switched the company 3 times.
Oh, okay. All right, good. You know, this is not very nice, but I'm thinking a lot of people use the word, they were loyal to their companies. But some people, I don't know if it was loyalty or they were stuck there. They had no choice, right? So, oh, I don't want to quit the company because I'm loyal. I don't want to quit. I can't quit the company because no other company will take me. I'm old. I lived in Japan many years, and I found that to be the case for a lot of people. Is I want to change jobs, but no one wants a used worker. So I have to be loyal to the company. I'm stuck. Now there's not the feeling of being stuck in one company. Some people don't like their job. They go there and, oh, I have to work here for 40 years. You know, nowadays that thought maybe isn't as strong, but before it was, you know, once you found the company, you were married to the company because you had no choice to go another place. So this is very interesting how things have changed in Japan, right? Okay. Good. They have nemawashi is number 10. And the question, what is nemawashi? Okay. My answer is nemawashi refers to the common Japanese practice of arriving at a decision through informal, small meetings held before an official meeting. Nemawashi is carried out in order to achieve consensus and avoid embarrassing and uncomfortable situations, arguments, and conflict. It's a common practice in business and political, in the business and political worlds.
Could you repeat it in the last sentence?
It's a common practice before that. Okay. Nemawashi is carried out in order to achieve consensus and avoid embarrassing and uncomfortable situations, arguments, and conflict. Okay. It is a common practice in the business and political worlds. Or it is a common practice, it is a common practice in business and politics. Okay, just some background. What I've done to this is they have here. It's a let's see. It's refers to the common Japanese practice of arriving at a decision through informal background discussions. This is okay. I just think what it is little small meetings, right, before the big official meeting. So nemawashi refers to the common Japanese practice of arriving at a decision through small informal background meetings before an official large meeting is held. You can say that. I think the first way I read it was a little different, but in essence, it's not only discussions. A lot of times people have meetings and, little informal meetings or get-togethers and kind of get the feeling of everybody, right? That's the idea, is to get the feeling of everybody before the official big meeting. So then at the official big meeting, everybody knows what they're going to decide, and they just kind of go through the formality of talking and making the decision, and everybody's happy. People don't start arguing at the meeting or fighting or you're stupid, why did you say that? That's not right, and so they don't have this conflict because everybody's discussed it, separately outside the meeting. That's the whole nemawashi thing. In here they say public dissent. Public dissent is probably, to me, not the correct expression to use because public dissent sounds like a demonstration, like a bodo or something outside the, So that's not what it is. It's to avoid embarrassing situations in public, to avoid embarrassing situations in front of others. It's avoid embarrassing situations in front of other people. This type of thing. But public dissent sounds like a, mass demonstration. And it's not, I think, a different nuance than what they mean here. Okay, and the word nemoashi, sometimes people, what is that? It's root binding. Yeah, ne is root, R-O-O-T, binding, B-I-N-D-I-N-G. Literally means root binding. So you kind of, you know, put all the roots together, bind them up, so everybody's all tight in this, like the roots of the tree, right? The nemoashi is when they bring the tree and it has the cloth around the roots and everything's bound up. So that's what it is. Everybody's in a tight bond. So it's root binding is the literal expression. You don't have to say that, but that's what I would call it. So what is nemoashi?
Okay. Nemoashi is a common business and political practice in Japanese company. A junior employee who wants to bring up an issue has some informal discussions with other employees. It is a kind of a informal lobbying to gain consensus before action. They are literally means root binding. It is a completely clear off all obstacles before it goes to a formal meeting. If you talk to a lone person at the wrong level of hierarchy, so your issue will never be brought up to the formal meeting.
Okay, good. Can you say about what you said, clear off? Can you say that sentence?
Clear, okay. They are literally root binding.
They are, so nemawashi means
nemawashi means literally root binding. It is to completely clear off all obstacles before it goes to a formal meeting.
I would say clear away.
Clear away, okay. Clear.
Or just clear all obstacles. To clear obstacles. Yeah, clear.
Obstacles.
Take the off. It is used to clear all obstacles.
Clear all obstacles before it goes to a formal meeting. Official meeting.
Yeah, before it goes. What I'm thinking, it goes. Let's see. Try it again. Can you say it again? Sorry.
Nemawashi literally means root binding. It is to completely clear all obstacles before it goes to an official meeting.
Okay, it is used to clear all obstacles before, before the official meeting is held.
Okay, before an official meeting is held.
Yeah, then that works. Okay, good. Yeah, that's a nice answer. Okay. Okay, yeah. And let's ask him then, what is nemawashi?
Nemawashi means root binding, literally. It's the common Japanese practice to get a feeling and obtain a conclusion or decision through the small and underground meeting held before the formal meeting.
Okay.
Japanese don't like to argue hotly in the official meeting. In order to reach a decision or conclusion without embarrassing situation in public.
Without embarrassing situations.
Without embarrassing situations in public. So these are needed in Japanese society for political and also a business world.
Okay, for the
business world.
Yeah, good. Okay. Another expression that's a little bit, well, it's not real slang, but it's used a lot is, nemawashi is a way to get everybody on board. Everybody on board. So on board is what? Like get on board the train, get on board the plane. So it's a way to get everybody on board before the meeting, before the official big meeting is held. And that expression is used a lot in companies. You know, is everybody on board? You know, which means is everybody with us together?
Everybody on board.
Yeah, so to get everybody on board.
Which verb you use?
Get?
Get. Get everybody on board.
Right.
Before the formal meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or to get everyone to agree, kind of that. But they use that a lot. Is that, you know, to get, let's get them on board. You know, so good. Okay. The last, shouldn't say last, the next two questions, 11 and 12, are kind of, you know, very standard answers and questions, but I will read the answers as I see. The first is question 11 is, what is Shushin Koyo? And I have exactly the same answer as the model answer. I didn't change anything. I think it's fine. But I will read it just because people have mentioned they like me to say this so they can hear my pronunciation. Shushin Koyo is the the question is, what is Shushin Koyo? Shushin Koyo is a lifetime employment system which has been prevalent in Japanese companies. Under this system, employees are expected to be totally loyal to the company in exchange for guaranteed employment until retirement, usually between the ages of 60 and 65. Okay. Now, the word prevalent, which has, you can exchange that with common.
Common, okay.
Okay, if prevalent is not easy to say, common is maybe easier. So Shushin Koyo is a lifetime employment system which has been common in Japanese companies. Okay, what is your answer for what is Shushin Koyo?
It's almost the same as yours.
Yeah, this answer actually is
Okay.
fine, but
Yeah.
go ahead, sure.
Yeah, okay. Shushin Koyo is a lifetime employment system which has been common in Japanese companies. And under this system, people are supposed to loyal.
To be loyal.
To be loyal to the companies. What's else? No, in exchange for guaranteed employment until retirement, usually between the ages of 60 and 65.
Okay, good. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Yeah, so pretty much this.
Completely the same.
Yeah, this is actually a good answer. So let's say I change a lot of stuff, but this one's good.
Yeah.
What is your answer? Do you have the same thing?
I'm sorry, the modern answer sounds perfect, so my answer is also
Okay, good.
exactly the same.
All right, let's practice. Yeah.
Okay. Shushin Koyo is a lifetime employment system which has been common in Japanese companies. Under this system, employees are expected to be totally loyal to the company in exchange for guaranteed employment until retirement, usually between the ages of 60 and 65.
Okay, good. Again, anything else I would change here is in exchange for guaranteed employment until they retire is also a way. Yeah, it's more, that's more conversational, until retirement, but until they retire. But again, this answer is, you know, it's simpler. Until retirement is shorter than until they retire. But you could also say that if you're more comfortable. Okay. And with that, I think we'll go on to the last question today, which is number 12. It's what's Nenko Joretsu? And my answer is, Nenko Joretsu is the seniority system in Japanese companies. Under this system, wages and promotions were determined almost exclusively on length of service rather than on performance. Sure. Nenko Joretsu is a seniority system in Japanese companies. Under this system, wages and promotions were determined almost exclusively on length of service rather than on actual performance. Right. So my second time I read it, I put actual performance. It makes it a little more emphasis. What I have done is taken out the relative pronoun which, right? So we don't need this. Nenko Joretsu is a seniority system which has been prevalent in Japanese companies. You don't even need to say that. So Nenko Joretsu is a seniority system in Japanese companies. And then all I did is depend, the word depend on the second line, I said were determined. Or you could actually leave it present tense if you like. Under this system, wages and promotions are determined almost exclusively on length of service rather than on performance. So maybe leaving it present tense actually might be better. So Nenko Joretsu is a seniority system in Japanese companies. Under this system, wages and promotions are determined almost exclusively on length of service rather than on actual performance. Yeah. Okay. So actually probably the present tense of rather are determined makes it a little bit better. Were determined sounds, obviously I'm using it in the sense that it's not as common. So either way is okay. Were determined, because nowadays most companies have, you know, seniority and performance, a combination of the two. But under the real definition, it's are determined is better. Okay. And what is your answer for what is Nenko Joretsu?
May I take your answer for my practice?
Oh, sure, if you like it.
Nenko Joretsu is the seniority system in Japanese companies. Under this system, wages and promotions are determined almost exclusively on length of service rather than actual performance.
Okay, good. And what is your answer? What is Nenko Joretsu?
Nenko Joretsu is the seniority system in Japanese companies. Under this system, wages and promotions are determined by the length of service in the companies rather than performance, actual performance.
Okay, good. Okay. Let's just practice a few of the holidays. So how many national holidays are there in Japan?
In Japan, we have 15 national holidays.
Okay. What is May 3rd?
May 3rd is the Day of Constitution.
And why is this Constitution Day?
The Constitution was actually carried out from that date of 1947. 47.
47, right. So the new post-war new constitution came into effect on May 3rd, 1947. Good. What is Golden Week?
Golden Week is a kind of a long vacation Japanese people always take. And it starts from the end of April through May 5th. During this time, people often go back to their hometown or take trips. You know, during this time, so the transportation and accommodations are fully booked, and many people, many people go everywhere.
Okay, people. That's okay. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, I think it's the first sentence. I think can you improve that? What is Golden Week?
Golden Week is the long Japanese holidays, national holidays. It's a long vacation. How can I say?
Okay, what I would say is that Golden Week is a week with many holidays.
Oh, it's very simple.
Oh yeah, I use junior high school English.
Golden Week is there holidays with many. Okay.
Golden Week is a week with many holidays.
Golden Week is the week with many holidays.
And that begins April 29th
Through May 5th.
through May 5th. Okay, yeah, that's what I would say. So Golden Week is a week with many holidays. That begins on April 29th and ends May 5th. Okay, and then during that time, then what you said, during that time people go to their hometowns and they travel and what? I would, again, use more junior high school English. Trains and buses and airplanes are very full, and hotels are also very full because everybody travels. Many people travel. Okay, so rather than transportation and accommodations, I would say trains and planes, buses are full, and hotels are full because many people travel.
Extraordinary busy and crowded.
Right, okay. And let's see, what was I going to say? I know in this book they have a holiday-studded week. If you look in the Sambyaksen book, they have its Golden Week as a holiday-studded week. And that's not a very common expression. It's a literal expression. It's a very expressive way to say this, but it's not something people would catch very easily with their ears. Now, star-studded sky. Studded sky, we say. Star-studded sky. So a sky with many stars. But holiday-studded week is an interesting expression, but it's not a common expression. So I just say Golden Week is a week with many holidays. Okay. Let me ask him a question. The government is thinking of what? Spacing or spreading out some of these national holidays, like having Golden Week at a different time or summer vacation at a different time. What do you think of the government's idea of, transferring or changing some of these days so not everything is crowded in a rush at one time?
I think I am positive and also negative for these changes. Because in the positive side, the crowdedness of in the traffic and in places will be decreased. But in negative side, people want to go homeland or travel together. So if the holidays are different from person to person, they can't do that. So in a sense, it's not so good. So there are positive and negative side.
Right. Okay, good. Right. So I think that's basically the issue. They're positive and negative. The positive is it avoids so much crowding. And it's actually, I've heard businesses prefer that because usually they've said at Golden Week or Obon period, there's too many customers who want to go to a hotel and they have to tell customers, sorry, we're full. The week after Golden Week, nobody goes and it's empty.
Yes.
So it's like to spread out, even out the demand, which is nicer for maybe businesses. And also in people working, the hotel is very, very busy during Golden Week and they need lots of part-time help, but the next week the part-time help don't have jobs because nobody's there. Nobody, but not so many people. Yes. So it spreads out employment, it spreads out there. The trouble is, as you said, if people want to take vacations with their friends or families and the vacation times are different, they cannot do this. Yes. Right? Right. But the government is thinking, I think, of spreading out the holiday. And I think it's maybe a good idea because in America we don't have such a rush. Right? Summer vacation can be a rush, but summer vacation is 3 months. For children, right? June until September. So yes, summer is busy, but it's still not packed into 1 week, like Obon or something. So I'm kind of used to a system that doesn't have all these rushes when everybody takes vacation at the same time. So it actually is, you know, in some sense good. It depends. So tell me, what is May 4th?
Green Day? Oh, okay. The May 4th is the holiday of Green, it is called Green Day. Originally, Green Day, originally it was observed on April 29th. It was the birthday of Showa Emperor Showa until 1989, if I remember right.
89, but
89.
It's always his birthday.
Okay. Because the Emperor Showa was a kind of the expert who are very interested in the environmental study, the study of environment, and it is to commemorate the achievement of Emperor Showa, and after he was passed away. The May 4th becomes Green Day.
Okay. All right. April 29th is Emperor Showa's birthday, and that doesn't change. So it was until, you know, he passed away, it was always the emperor's birthday. So now the emperor's birthday is December 23. But, you know, so I know some students say it was his birthday until, it was Emperor Showa's birthday until 1989. So when was Emperor Showa's next birthday? No. So what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. See, that's a little funny. So anyway, let's go back to what is May 4th. May 4th is Green Day. And Green Day is, as you said, commemorates and celebrates Emperor Showa's interest in greenery. And it also is a day to appreciate ecology and the environment. Originally, Green Day was April 29th, which was Emperor Showa's birthday. But because Japan needed a holiday between May 3rd and May 5th, they made May 5th an official national holiday, making it Green Day. Right? So then, instead of being a funny name like, you know, just, you know, extra holiday or, you know, added holiday or something, they used to call it a strange name. It didn't have a real name. It was just like, you know, official day off or something, you know. So then, because April 29th was always the emperor's birthday, celebrated as the emperor's birthday for 80, how old was he, 81? Something, I forget, 80 something. It was celebrated as the emperor's birthday for 80 some years. Everybody liked his birthday because it was the start of Golden Week. And if it's not a holiday anymore, Golden Week is only May 3, 4, 5, which is kind of not very much. So they kept it as a holiday on May 29th, April 29th, and turned it into Showa Day. Yeah. Okay, so they have that. So there's some politics as well. It's also not just because of Emperor Showa, but they needed a holiday for May 5th to make it an official day. Sounds better. Okay. What is the third Monday in July?
The third Monday in July. It might the day of sea or
Yeah. The Marine Day is what.
Marine Day.
Yeah. Okay. And what is anything special about that?
I am not so sure about that. Maybe in many ocean coast, the coast is officially declared it's open. I'm not so sure about that.
Okay, right. It's Marine Day. There's some interesting background information I've heard. One of it was chosen as the day because, one, there is no holiday between Golden Week and, well, technically September, because Obon is not an official holiday period. There was no holiday between, June, July, August have no holidays. So they made it a holiday. But it was also, I heard, the day Emperor Meiji took a trip to Hokkaido on the boat, and he came back that day to Yokohama or something. So it happened to be July 21st, and so that's also why they picked that day. I'm not 100% of my history, but there was some reason to commemorate his return back from a trip by boat. And I think it was to Hokkaido or something. But they needed, there was a break for that. Okay. So how many months have 2 holidays? More than 1 holiday?
Oh, how many months? More than 2 holidays. Oh, definitely May.
Okay, May.
And January.
Okay, January, right.
And more than 2.
Or 2 or more.
2 or more. Oh, not much. December. And
what's in December?
December is the emperor's birthday. Oh, that's okay, only that one. So the November.
Okay, November.
Yeah.
And what? Last year we had
October.
No. September. September and November, right? And last year in September we had what you call Silver Week.
Okay, silver.
You're right. Okay, so some months have 2, some have 1, and what months have 0?
0.
June.
August, June.
Yeah.
And
I think just August and June, right?
August
Okay,
and June,
good. All right. So, I didn't get a chance to mention all of these, but know some of the national holidays, right? Like Foundation Day, National Foundation Day, February 11th.
11th, yes.
Right. The first day of spring and first day of autumn. You say the equinox days.
Equinox day.
But most of it's first day of spring, first day of autumn. Culture Day in November. And Labor Day.
Yeah, Labor Day.
Now they have Labor Day.
23rd.
Right, and then they have, what is it? Appreciation for the Aged Day.
Aged Day is, I'm not so sure about that.
That's September?
September?
24th? Is it? Okay, it's in September. And then they have, what, Coming of Age Day in January. So there's lots of holidays. So learn about the holidays. But Japan has 15, and that's a lot of holidays. Yes. Okay, so they do ask you some of these strange questions, is why is May 4th a holiday? Why is Emperor Showa's birthday still a holiday, So politically it's there because it was, his birthday. He was the longest emperor to be an emperor in Japan. But also, it's the start of Golden Week, and people say, don't take away my Golden Week.
I think November 3rd is also the birthday of Meiji Emperor.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
now it's called Culture Day.
Culture Day.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
See, I learned the birthday.
Of Emperor Meiji. Oh, well, thank you. I learned something new. No one's ever said that. I've never heard that. Oh, okay. Good. So now they have the Emperor Meiji's birthday is actually Culture Day. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Well, thank you for coming. Nice to see you. Next week we'll do more about work and the topic for companies and working.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.